Welcome to True Life Lessons. Today we explore the poignant story of Emma, a woman who finally learned the true value of time. Emma sat quietly by the large window, watching the golden leaves fall, realizing that another quiet autumn had arrived in her life. Her life was peaceful, but silent, filled with the slow rhythm of retirement, yet a vague feeling of emptiness lingered in her heart. The house was always clean and orderly, reflecting a life of discipline, but the silence sometimes felt louder than any noise could be. One afternoon, seeking to fill the quiet hours, Emma decided to organize the old storage room that held decades of gathered memories. Inside a dusty box, amidst faded letters and trinkets, she found a worn leather notebook she had not seen in 40 years. Her heart skipped a beat as she recognized her own handwriting from when she was just 25 years old, full of hope. She opened the pages and the ink revealed a list of dreams she had promised herself she would achieve before growing old. Memories flooded back of a young woman who believed she had all the time in the world to conquer every single dream. The list was specific and bold. Travel to Paris, write a novel, and learn to swim like a professional athlete one day. But as she read each item, a heavy wave of regret washed over her, for none of these boxes had ever been checked. She remembered how work always came first, consuming her days and nights, leaving no energy for the adventures she had planned. Then came family responsibilities, and she kept telling herself that she would pursue her passions once things settled down a bit more. Years turned into decades, and the magical moment of later never arrived, pushed aside by the urgent demands of everyday life. Now, at 68, her knees ached, her energy was lower, and the idea of swimming or traveling far seemed impossible. She felt a deep sorrow, believing she had wasted her potential and that the window of opportunity had closed forever. That night, sleep did not come easily, as her mind replayed all the excuses she had made to delay her own happiness. The next morning, hoping to clear her heavy head, Emma went for a slow walk in the park near her home. She sat on a bench, watching the world go by, feeling like a spectator in a life she should have been living. Suddenly, a little girl chased a ball to Emma's feet, looking up with bright eyes and a smile that warmed the air. The innocent child asked why Emma looked so sad and if she was waiting for someone special to arrive at the park. Emma smiled sadly and replied that she was mourning a time that had passed, a time she could never get back. The little girl tilted her head and shared her mother's wisdom. It is never too late to start playing a new game. Those simple words struck Emma like lightning, awakening a part of her spirit that had been dormant for far too long. She looked up at the vast blue sky and realized that while she couldn't go back, she was still here right now. She stood up with a newfound purpose, walking home not with the heavy steps of regret, but with the stride of determination. Back at her desk, she opened the old notebook again, but this time she picked up a bold red pen to write. She crossed out the original impossible goals and began to adapt them into things she could actually achieve in her present life. Instead of becoming a professional swimmer, she decided she would teach water safety and swimming theory to the children in her community. And instead of a massive novel, she would write charming short stories for children, sharing the wisdom she had gathered over years. For the first time in years, Emma felt a surge of excitement. The burden of perfection was gone, replaced by possibility. She started immediately, visiting the library to borrow every book she could find about the culture and history of Paris. Her kitchen turned into a little bakery, filled with the scent of butter and flour as she laughed at her messy attempts. The result was delicious, and as she took a bite, she traveled to France in her mind, savoring the flavor of dreams. Next, She sat at her desk and let her imagination flow, weaving tales of magic and lessons that she wished to share. Her stories came to life with characters who faced their fears, teaching children that it is never too late to be brave. She went to the local community center and volunteered to read her stories and teach basic safety skills to the neighborhood kids. The children were captivated by her voice and her energy, listening with wide eyes as she transported them to different worlds. She found immense joy in their curiosity, realizing that sharing her knowledge was just as fulfilling as the original dreams she had. Though she couldn't swim competitively, she taught them the importance of water safety, passing on vital skills that could save lives. Seasons changed, but Emma's enthusiasm remained constant. Her calendar was now full of meaningful activities that brought light to her days. One day, a local publisher approached her, impressed by her stories, and asked to compile them into a real book for children. Holding the first printed copy of her book, tears of joy filled her eyes. She had finally become a published author. At her book launch, surrounded by smiling faces, she realized that her dream had come true, just in a different form. She saw the little girl from the park and handed her a signed copy, thanking her for the wisdom that changed everything. Sitting on that familiar bench, Emma no longer felt the weight of regret, but the lightness of a life well lived. The old bucket list was gone, replaced by a new list of achievements that were adapted to fit her reality perfectly. She learned that while we cannot reverse time, we can always fill the remaining time with purpose, joy, and new beginnings. Emma's journey teaches us that dreams do not have an expiration date, even if the way we achieve them must change. Her wrinkles were no longer signs of fading time, but evidence of the laughter and smiles she shared with the world. The difference between regret and fulfillment was simply the decision to stop waiting for perfection and start acting on possibility. As the sun set, she didn't fear the coming night, for she knew she had made the most of the day. This story brings us to a crucial lesson. Do not wait for the perfect moment, because that moment may never arrive. Waiting for everything to be just right is a trap that keeps us from living the life we are meant to live. Start exactly where you are, with whatever tools and energy you have right now, and let the journey unfold naturally. Like a flower growing through concrete, your dreams can bloom in imperfect conditions if you just give them a chance. Be willing to adapt your dreams. The core feeling of achievement is what matters, not the specific details of the plan. Your past self had the vision, but your present self has the wisdom to execute it in a way that works. It does not matter if you are 20 or 80. The joy of starting something new is a universal human experience. Emma found that happiness was not in the grand gestures of Paris, but in the daily purpose she created at home. Let her story be a reminder that as long as you have breath in your lungs, you have a chance to start. Do not let the calendar dictate your potential. Today is the only day that truly matters for taking that first step. Forgive yourself for the time you have lost and honor yourself by making the most of the time you have left. She closed the book on regret and opened a new chapter of action, proving that it is never too late to live. The light in her home burned brighter now, a beacon of the fulfillment that comes when we finally embrace our own dreams. Now I ask you, what is on your list? What dreams have you pushed aside for a later that never comes? Is it a place you want to visit, a skill you want to learn, or a word you need to say? Take this moment as your sign. Make the call, book the class, write the first page. Do it for yourself today. Time is finite, but your capacity for reinvention is infinite. Flip the hourglass and start your own new chapter right now. Let Emma's story stay with you. Let her joy be your motivation to stop waiting and start living your true life. Remember, life is not a rehearsal. It is happening right now, in this very breath, and it is yours to seize. Cherish your dreams, adapt them if you must, but never let them die in the silence of procrastination and fear. We hope this story has touched your heart and inspired you to look at your own bucket list with new eyes. If you found value in this video, please like and share it with someone who might need this encouragement today. Thank you for watching True Life Lessons. Subscribe for more inspiring stories that touch the heart and change the soul.